A history of Nintendo consoles. Nintendo gaming consoles have been entertaining us for several decades now by bringing iconic characters to life, such as Mario, Donkey Kong, Link, Kirby, and a few others. Now, let's take a journey into a history of Nintendo consoles. The 1970s, Japan. In the 70s, the Japanese economy was booming. The government enacted economic policies that allowed for the government and private corporations to work together to boost exports. These policies helped the country's manufacturing, technology, and exports grow. This period was known as the economic miracle. Also, during this period, the rise of arcade games like Speed Race, Gunfight, and Space Invaders. In 1976, Mitsubishi Electric Company came to Nintendo with a development deal to market home gaming consoles. Development engineer Masayuki Uemura spearheaded the project and sought approval from President Hiroshi Yamauchi, who agreed to the deal. Uemura began working on two consoles, the Color TV Game 6, which had 6 games built in, and the Color TV Game 15, which had 15 games built in. Color TV Game 6 released in June of 1977, and the basic games were variations of Pong. It retailed at 9,800 yen. A few days later, Color TV Game 15 launched with the retail price of 15,000 yen. The games were a success in Japan for Nintendo's first home gaming consoles. The 1980s, the era where anime grew to popularity. Anime like Dragon Ball, Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, and Fist of the North Star, which would become an internet meme in the 2000s. Nani? Sorry. In 1982, Uemura and the team began working on the next gaming system. Uemura decided on the 8-bit Central Processing Unit, or CPU. The picture processing unit was developed by Ricoh. 1983, the family computer in Nintendo Entertainment System, or Famicom, was released in Japan. It had a bright red and white color scheme that made it look like a toy. The system was priced at 14,800 yen, and the initial games released for the system were Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., and Popeye. Now, in 1983, the United States was experiencing a video game crash. The market was oversaturated with systems like Atari, Intellivision, Vectrex, and ColeVision. Also, the rise of more affordable personal computers that were able to play games. Video game sales went from 3 billion in 1982 to 100 million by 1985. So Nintendo devised a plan to take advantage of the dying gaming market. They studied the sentiment of the American people, lying in wait like a predator stalking its prey, picking them off one by one until there was only one left. Anyways, in 1985, Nintendo released Famicom in North America and named it Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES. They marketed it as an entertainment system and not a gaming console, since retailers were pushing back against more gaming consoles. The NES color scheme was gray with black and red, and with this release came the Super Mario game, who would become one of the most famous gaming characters till this day. And with this game came the most well-known gaming song. Other games include Metroid and Zelda and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! By 1988, Uemura began working on the next console. This time, it would be a 16-bit system with advanced graphics and sound. The 1990s. Oh yeah, y'all know what time it is. It's the 90s. The era that brought out favorite movies of the millennial childhood like Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, and that awful Super Mario movie we forced our parents to take us to go see. The movie where our parents put shots of their favorite alcohol in their Coca-Cola to get themselves to the movie. Can I have some of your drink, Mom? No, that's not for kids. It's not for kids. Anyways, Nintendo released Super Famicom in Japan in November of 1990, which sold out within a few hours. And in 1991, they released the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or SNES in North America, for a retail price of $199. Also, the design was different from the Super Famicom that was released in Japan. By 1993, Nintendo began working on its next system. It would have a 64 central processing unit and have 3D graphics. And in 1996, the Nintendo 64, or N64, was released. In June, it was released in Japan and sold out 300,000 units its first day. Then, in September, the N64 was released in North America. And in the first 4 months, it sold 500,000 units. Honorable game mentions include Super Mario 64, where you can finally explore the world of Mario in 3D. Also, once you get the flying hat, you can fly like Superman throughout the world. Whee! Oh yeah, that was my childhood. In Diddy Kong Racing, where you're introduced to Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong's son, and a whole assortment of characters, like Banjo, a bear that gets his own game called Banjo-Kazooie, and Conker, the nice squirrel that ends up getting a game called Conker's Bad Fur Day, where he drinks and pisses on things. Truly a masterpiece for young millennials. However, there's one character from the Diddy Kong series I will never forget, and that's the stupid clock named TT, which took me weeks, if not months, to unlock. In order to unlock the stupid clock, you must race his ghost form and beat his absolutely perfect timing, getting angry if you missed the boost jump because you know you needed those extra seconds, then throwing your controller across the ground, and then your mom telling you to go outside and take a break. Anyways, and Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, that taught us all what an ocarina was, cause nobody knew. And probably the first 3D horse riding simulator. Let's be honest, we all mindlessly rode Epona around the world. Now, in the 90s, a popular franchise grew that would take over the world. And yes, I'm talking about Pokemon, with its epic theme song. Teach Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. I got carried away, and I apologize. Let's keep the video going. Pokemon took over the world with its cartoon show, card game, and video game releases, like the Game Boy games. And of course, my personal favorite video game of them all, Pokemon Snap, where you can take pictures of Pokemon for absolutely no reason at all. I'm just joking. My personal favorite was Pokemon Stadium. However, when I think about Pokemon Snap, now that I'm older, they were grooming millennials for Pokemon Go in the coming decades. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. When Pokemon Stadium dropped in April of 1999, it was an instant hit. In the first month, it sold just over 1 million copies in North America. You can now battle your Pokemon in 3D. The game came with a transfer pack that allowed players to transfer their Pokemon from the Game Boy games to the N64. I remember some of my friends in middle school called in sick that day when it released just to play the game. It was one of those games you could invite friends over and play all day and night. By the end of the decade, Nintendo started working on its next console. This new system would move away from the cartridges of previous systems and towards compact discs, like its competition. The CPU in this system was called Gecko, and it was developed by IBM. The 2000s, the era where Pokemon continued to grow in influence, and Kirby would get his own show called Kirby, Right Back at Ya, which aired on Saturday mornings. In August of 2000, the new console called the GameCube was revealed at the Nintendo Space World show. This console was cube-shaped and not squared like previous consoles, and had better graphics than the N64. The console came in 3 colors: indigo, silver, and black. In September of 2001, the GameCube was released in Japan, in mid-November in the United States. By the end of its first year, it had sold 9.5 million units by 2002. However, the system didn't sell as well as its competitors, like Xbox and the PlayStation 2. Notable games for the GameCube include Pikmin, an original game with an interesting concept, where you play as a captain of a ship that's been stranded on an alien world, and colorful yet creepy plant-like creatures help you along the way. The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker, which introduced cel shading graphics into the Zelda series, and Super Smash Bros. Melee, where Nintendo characters return to enact violence on each other to compete for dominance. Soon after GameCube launched, Nintendo began working on its next console. Game designers Shigeru Miyamoto and Ginyo Takeda led the development. The new console would have motion detection, and the controllers would be wireless remotes that connected to the motion sensors in the console. And in 2006, the Nintendo Wii dropped, which took the world by storm. It was a console for everyone, not just gamers. It came with handheld controller and built-in Wi-Fi. The startup menu contained applications the users could select, and even a Wii shop. It was even fully compatible with every GameCube game. The initial price in the United States was $249. By 2008, Wii had sold 10 million units within the year. Honorable game mentions include Just Dance series, the dancing game that inspired everyone to get off their couch and move their asses, where you felt good about dancing to the slow-paced songs. However, when songs like Hey Ya by Outkast and I Want You Back by Jackson 5 came on, you realize you will never be as good as the dancing avatar on the screen. Let's not forget about Wii Sports, where once you get good at it, you will no longer disappoint your father for being terrible at real sports. Moving on, the Wii was a massive success. It beat out the competing consoles of that generation, and by the end of 2009, Nintendo reported a total of 67 million Wiis sold. The 2010s, the era where social media apps like Facebook, YouTube, Reddit, and Instagram started growing in the mainstream. Gamers can now stream their gameplay from apps like Twitch and YouTube and record speedruns trying to beat time records, and more Pokemon movies that no one can keep up with. Let's not forget about the Detective Pikachu movie, where we got to see a live-action talking Pikachu. And in 2016, Pokemon Go became a worldwide craze. Once the game released on mobile devices, the programming from Pokemon Snap flipped a switch on in everyone's brains. At E3 in 2011, the Wii U was revealed. This console was going to be for everyone, like the previous Wii. However, they wanted to bring back hardcore gamers, so it was a hybrid console, an handheld device with 2 analog pads, and button layouts similar to previous controllers. In 2012, the Wii U launched, in North America in November, in Japan in December. The price in the US was $300, in Japan at 26,000 yen. The system's main controller is the Wii U gamepad, a 6-inch touchscreen which can stream from the console, allowing gamers to play away from the TV in another room. The reception of the Wii U was terrible. It is so far the most undersold console in the company's history. By November of 2013, upon release of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, the system had abysmal sales. Honorable game mentions include Super Mario Bros. U, which brought back the side-scrolling concept from older games, but with better graphics. Super Smash Bros. And Nintendo Land, a game with an assortment of mini-games that you can play with other people. In October of 2016, Nintendo advertised its new Switch console during a reveal trailer. The commercial featured a collage of people playing the Switch and the snapping sound throughout the ad. Then, another commercial aired during the Super Bowl in 2017. The console was another hybrid with a detachable tablet that can attach to a dock and be played on a larger screen. It also has detachable side controllers called Joy-Con that can be used as standard controllers or motion controls similar to the original Wii. In March of 2017, the Switch was released, priced around $300. The console was more successful than the Wii U. It had sold close to 3 million copies within the first month, and over 10 million copies in the first year. Honorable games include Super Mario Odyssey, which allows you to travel through the various kingdoms of Mario World, sometimes switching between 2D and 3D gameplay. And Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, a new addition to the Zelda franchise, with a massive open world that you'll spend hours upon hours exploring. You'll neglect your friends and family and important life events to explore the massive world, missing out on birthday parties, graduations, and maybe even the birth of your child, all the while exploring the world while paragliding, riding horses, and even a freaking motorcycle. This will be your life, and your life will be the game. Oh, I went on a rant there. I apologize. As of the making of this video, there's speculation that Nintendo is planning on releasing a Switch 2. However, we don't know exactly when. One thing for sure is that Nintendo consoles are here to stay. They have a loyal fan base and have entertained us for a long time, and will continue to do so. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content. This concludes another episode of The Voice of Rhyno.